Hey guys, Pyker here, and welcome back to another episode of Kerbal Reach. We are on episode 47, and our transfer window with Jool has arrived. Finally, we have our SCANsat all ready to go to head out to Jool. Granted, it's obviously going to take a while for our spacecraft to get out there, but our maneuver node is 18 minutes away. I already have a maneuver node set up with Jool. We also have an encounter. It is a very, very far away encounter, but it is an encounter nonetheless. I also think that we have enough fuel to do it. We have about a half a tank with this motor, and then we got another poodle motor with another half tank, basically, of what we currently have. So I think we have plenty of Delta V, not to mention that we also have this guy with xenon gas and 4 xenon engines, which is extremely low thrust, but is extremely efficient. So we should be able to get around pretty easily if it comes to that. Now, let's actually just fire our motor really quick. Actually, let's wait until we get to the prograde side of our orbit before we go and fire our motor. Actually, our node's going to be coming up here in a couple minutes. I actually think that we might be kind of off, too, because the node, the burn time is probably going to be way off. So we're just going to wait until it's about 2 minutes flat, roughly. Hopefully, we're not pointing directly at the surface. We are not. We're going to fire this engine up all the way and see what kind of time we've got. Minute 32, which isn't bad at all. Granted, we do not have enough fuel to burn for a minute and 32 seconds with this motor. I almost guarantee it. Also, I just had that our life support window open just to keep an eye on our space station still. We're still above 630 days worth of life support at our space station. So I think it's going to be leveling off here pretty soon because it should be fully self-sufficient. So we're gonna wait a little bit. Actually, our estimated burn is already here, so let's just burn. Let's screw it. Let's just do it. Let's go to town. Let's see how much of our burn we can actually get done with this motor. I'm hoping quite a bit of it. We might even just say screw it and transfer the fuel over if we can. We might as well, right? Let's see how far it'll get us first. Just because I'm curious. I mean, this is a hell of a burn, that's for sure. I know that much I am well aware of. Okay, we are now out of the sphere, or heading out into interstellar space. We got about half of our burn done with that motor. I'm kind of thinking we just transfer this in. Actually, let's just kill our engines here. Make sure that we get all of the fuel over as we possibly can. Should be enough. Hoping that it's gonna let us finish this burn with this motor. That would be nice. If not, we'll just kind of stop it once it gets to a quarter way and use the poodle engine for the rest of it. But it's looking pretty good. We might actually be able to finish this burn and save some fuel for our poodle engine too. Once we get down to like 200 meters per second, we'll just kill the engines, transfer the fuel back over, and actually, you know what? Screw it. We'll just use it the rest of the way. And let's cut the engine there. Let's transfer this back over. Even though it's not a lot of fuel, but it's better than none is basically what it boils down to. Okay, so let's separate that stage. Hopefully, there we go. And let's point in the direction that we need to be pointing now that the shuttle is a little bit easier to control here. I'll just finish our burn with the poodle engine. I don't know why it is wobbling right now, but it is wobbling very, very badly. No more wobbles. Enough with the wobbles. Just need a couple more meters per second. I like it. We're going to call it good there. Now, did we actually get an encounter? We did! We have an encounter with Jool. Woohoo! I think. Yes, we have an encounter with Jool. Let's actually, let's point at Jool itself and see, and bring up our periaps on this guy so we can keep an eye on it. See if we can actually, nope, that's going further away. How about, nope, still going further away. Okay, well, I guess we're just going to have to wait until we get into interstellar space to dick around with that. So we'll just fast forward until we get out of the sphere of influence, or Kerbin at least, which should be pretty easy and very quick to come upon us. Are we still getting electricity? Yes, we are. Okay, good. Now, we don't have a lot of fuel left in this Poodle engine, but I'm hoping is that, what I am hoping is that we'll be able to use the amount of fuel in this Poodle engine to slow us down to get us into a capture orbit around Jool. That would be a huge, huge plus. Now, whether or not that actually happens, completely different until we see, when we get there. I mean, Jool is a very big planet, so it shouldn't be too hard to get captured by it. We definitely want to get our periapsis down and try to come in pretty hot. I figure the closer we're going to be coming, the faster we're going to be going, as far as I can tell. I don't know, guys. I don't know what I want to do, but we're going to keep fast forwarding. We're just going to get out of the sphere of influence here. And there we go. Okay, we are out of the sphere of influence, and we have a Karbonundum transfer window coming up in about 32 days, which realistically we could just sit on this satellite until we well, that is a very, very aggressive burn towards Jool. We're gonna be freaking flying past it, but nonetheless, we should be able to get there pretty easily. Yeah, let's just fast forward a bit, see what happens. Maybe not get to the point where hell, we might as well just go through it, right? I don't want to get down to the Duna capture or the Duna transfer window yet. But what we can do now is maybe even to see if we can adjust it here, because that would be huge if we could. Now, when does... Okay, we need to go to the blue. Oh, get away. We need to go to the blue line and make a maneuver node. Then we need to go to the periapsis around Jool. There we go. And bring this back up and see if we can just make it closer. And that is just going to be screwing with me so hard. But it seems to be getting smaller. The numbers, at least, seem to be getting smaller. I wish that would go away. Go away. Thank you. Okay. Oh, nope. We're going further away now. Still getting closer. And that's where it's going to start screwing with us. Oh, nope. I think we need to adjust normal and anti-normal. Oh, yeah. That's the ticket right there. I mean, hell, if we can get pretty close, that'd be awesome. I mean, look at the amount of fuel that we have to burn to actually get this encounter isn't much, to be completely honest. 500, let's see, is it 500,000 kilometers? I don't know. It's 483 million meters, so I'm assuming it's 483 kilometers. Or 1,000 kilometers, sorry. Somewhere in that general area. But anyways, excuse me. We can actually burn for that too. We can even do it right now. It probably won't affect it too much. But, I think what we'll do is we'll go to the Space Center. Oh, wrong button. We'll go to the Space Center because I want to show you guys another thing that I've been working on off camera. I remember talking about using the fusion engines and all that fun stuff for the Karborundum, which I figured out a way. I mean, it's not a very cool / easy thing to do, but I figured out a way to basically not have to harvest Karborundum, but still be able to use the fusion engines. Let's go into our research and development here real quick, though. But anyways, we had 4,000 signs when we landed, and I researched this guy, experimental rocketry, metamaterials, heavy aerodynamics. I think this satellite thing, I could be wrong. Power. I definitely wanted to unlock all these science modules, which will be extremely useful for whenever we actually do get to Duna and Jool and all that fun stuff with actually manned missions, which won't be for a while, but we'll be able to do it here eventually. Also, basically, I think don't quote me, but I think I'm on the last tier for our science, and all of these things cost 1,000 science, which is kind of ridiculous if you ask me, but nonetheless, we are there. We also unlocked, what did we unlock over here? Some KFD 500 torch drives, which use Karborundum, liquid hydrogen, and electric charge. But these things, I mean, look at the thrust. The max thrust on the smallest one is 25,000 kilonewtons of thrust, and the biggest one is 50,000 kilonewtons of thrust, which is fucking absurd if you ask me. But those engines will be, you know, those engines will be amazing for when we actually get the amount of Karborundum that we would need to do such things as use those engines, which will be kind of hard. But anyways, let's go to the Space Center and I'll show you guys the solar harvester that I worked on off camera. Where's that? Karborundum satellite. We'll fly this sucker, and we'll take a look at her real quick and just kind of give you guys a gist of how I went about. Well, you know what? We'll just use the second half of this video to show you guys how I used the fusion engine without actually having Karborundum available to us. So anyways, we've got our scanner here. It's got a ridiculous amount of batteries on it because the fusion drive does use a lot of electric charge, but it doesn't use very much Karborundum. Now, I have 160 Karborundum units in this satellite right now, which is enough to probably go around the sun and come back. But the way I went about getting that was with the Karborundum samples. It was actually, I read it on a forum post somewhere. I think it might have been on Reddit. And someone just basically, I mean, I guess it's cheating. I think it is, personally. I don't like doing it, but I wanted to see what the fusion engine was like. I wanted to use it, and I wanted to see, without having to, like, kill myself to try to get Karborundum, I wanted to see what the fusion engines could do. And to be honest, they're fucking amazing. So we've got this satellite headed towards the sun. I'm basically waiting for it to get to its apoapse so I can bring the periapse down to a reasonable altitude around the sun, which is 2,000 meters. Not kilometers, meters. 2,000 meters above the sun is the correct height that you need to be at to collect Karborundum with the satellite, or with the solar farm. Which, if you ask me, is, holy shit, that's close. I mean, any satellite would just be burned up, but, you know, we're not in the real life. So, but, yeah, so this is our solar farm we'll be using, until I could figure out, you know, how this whole thing works, and whether or not we can even get this thing that close to the sun without it exploding because of deadly reentry. I don't know if that'll actually have an effect on it or not. And I put some pipe ends on it so we can fly it back to Kerbin. Once we fill up the tanks, we can fly it back to Kerbin and unload the Karborundum onto like a space station kind of thing. I was thinking like a docking port, like a fuel space station, or a docking area for fuel, and we can fly rockets up with the fusion reactor and basically just refuel them there and use those to get to different planets quickly, I guess, if you want to go about it that way. I definitely want to design a single stage to orbit that has a fusion drive on it, but we also have to figure out a way to get that thing into orbit without actually having any fusion drive capability to use until we actually get into orbit and dock with a fuel station. So that's another thing that we're going to be working on. But anyways, this is our solar farm, and we're going to go back to the Space Center and take a peek at how I did that. I'm not actually going to launch anything, but I'll show you guys the cheap and easy way to get Karborundum without actually having to farm it. Let's just take a look, just in case anybody is actually like, okay, this is ridiculous trying to gather Karborundum right now. Why can't I just use the fusion engines? That would be so much easier. I've gone so far and so long to get all the science to even unlock the fusion engines, and now it is ridiculously difficult to use them, you know? Like, I can't get Karborundum, it's not available to me, blah, 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 whatever. So what we'll do is we'll show you how I did it, which is exactly this. If you guys can see, these are all the Karborundum samples, and they are on the docking, or the structural stuff for our rocket. And I'm actually going to move these down here and save this thing again. But anyway, so what you do is you get this sucker onto the launch pad, which we'll do right now. And loading up the launch pad. And okay, sometime today. Please don't crash. Okay, we're on the launch pad. Yay! So anyways, what you do is you just transfer the fuel. instead of putting these on your actual spacecraft, you just transfer the fuel into a Karborundum tank, which we will do right now. So basically what you do is you right-click with holding Alt, you right-click and then right-click the tank that you want it to go into, and you just transfer it. And like it said in the description for the Karborundum samples, that the samples will actually explode once they are empty. So you just kind of just keep doing this. Just keep holding Alt and just right-clicking on the tanks and just out, and you just basically load up your fuel tank with Karborundum just like this, which is super, super duper cheap, and I hate myself for doing it and showing you guys how to do it, because, I mean, to be honest, if you wanted to find out how to do it, you could probably just search online and do it yourself, but I'm here to teach you how to cheat. I mean, it's not really cheating, it's just a super cheap way of being able to get Karborundum without actually having to farm it. So if you're really anxious to use your fusion drives with Karborundum, you actually can. So you basically do that until you're out of Karborundum. You can literally put as many of these things on here as you could possibly fit and fill, you know, an entire spacecraft up with Karborundum. But again, it's going to take you a while because you have to right-click every single one and transfer all of fuel over just like this until then. And then if you revert the flight, you got to do it all over again. If something goes wrong, you got to do it all over again. So it's a kind of a cheap way to do it, but it also kind of has diminishing returns. Maybe that's the terminology I wanted to use. I don't really know, to be honest, but I wanted to see what the Fusion engine could do, and I did it this way. So if you're looking to use the Fusion engine without actually having to harvest Karborundum, this is the way to go about it. Oh god, I hate myself for doing this. Anyways, let's revert the flight back to the vehicle assembly, because we're not going to use this rocket, because we don't need to. But anyways, I'm using that satellite to get out to the sun to actually harvest Karborundum and do it that way. But I just wanted to see what the fusion drive could do, and it's amazing. Those things are amazing. When I can actually use the large fusion engines, and I can use the where are they at? Propulsion, I think, all the way at the end. When I can actually use these guys with 50,000 kilonewtons of thrust, I mean, whew. It's going to take a lot of Karborundum, and it's going to take a lot of, hydrogen, liquid hydrogen, which I think we have to harvest as well. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we have to harvest that too. Then again, we might be able to just do it this way. Let's just take a look here, just because I'm curious. Let's see, Karbonite converter. I need a fuel tank of some kind, or a supply tank. That'll work. All right. Let's see, next texture, waste, repair, agriculture, water, minerals, or substrate. No, 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 no. Okay, well, it's not in that. Let's see if we could find where we would actually put that fuel. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. Interesting. Can we do it here? Toggle flag. No, that's not it. Where would we get liquid hydrogen? You would think it would be in... It's got to be something with MKS and OKS. That would make sense, right? Let's see. Karbonite, drill assembly. Karborundum. We don't need Karborundum. Supply tanks. What's this? Nuclear fuel bottle. What's this hold? Uranium. Don't need that. Where the hell would I find this? Hold on, we'll see here. Refining, mining, agriculture, equipment, life support, manufacturing. I don't know where we would actually get liquid hydrogen. Huh. I'm so confused right now. Maybe somebody could tell me in the comments. Somebody will probably tell me in the comments. I know that we can harvest it. I just don't know what tanks we'd have to put it in. To be completely honest, let's see here. Let's see if we could find a tank that we would put it in. Let me go to the Karborundum section here. Karbonite tank. Karbonite tank. Karbonite SRB. Let's just slap this on there real quick. Nope, that's not going to be it. Where in the tits would we put liquid hydrogen? It'll be on like one of these. Nope. What about KW Rocketry? That's way too big to slap on the side. Oh, timer's going off, so we're at our time. Let's get this thing small so I can actually see what I'm doing. Type of flag. Nope, I don't know where we'd put liquid hydrogen, guys. That bothers me now. Let's see. Maybe it's in utility or structural. Nope, it's not in there. Not in there. Not in there. Huh. Somebody's gonna have to tell me in the comments where we put liquid hydrogen. Because I don't even know. All right, well, we're going to call this episode here, guys. We are going to be getting our Duna transfer window up and running next episode. And, yeah, since we are pretty close to it, and I can just fast forward until we need to actually get to it. But anyways, we're going to call this episode here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, be sure to drop a like at the bottom of the video. It does help me out greatly, and I do appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode of Kerbal Reach. And thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. And I will see all of you next time.